Hello, welcome to Yin and Restorative Yoga. Let's begin making sure that you have two blocks, a strap, and if you're able to practice in a space where you have some wall area, at least like from your waist down, that much of empty wall space, just a little section for later on. You might want to move your location to that spot. Or if you don't have wall space, you can grab a chair, or maybe there's a bed nearby or a sofa. That'll work too. And just set that aside for now. Let's find a way to sit comfortably. My name is Michelle Chua. You may like to prop your pelvis up high. If you have any kind of tightness in your hip flexors or around your hips, so that as you're bringing your legs in front of you, and you may like to open out the thighs, your knees can fall and relax more easily. So sit in a way that you can be upright in your spine and have a feeling of balance as you root down through the left and right sides of your pelvis. Here is a short excerpt from the Yoga Almanac, and you might have heard this before, but I think it's an important theme: simplification. It's easy to overcomplicate life, but when the everyday starts to feel like it's become crazy busy, it's as much a reflection of the outer landscape as the inner. Simplifying requires us to pare down overscheduled calendars, make time for self-care, and carve out space to breathe and just be. This may mean saying no when we might usually say yes, or decluttering and reorganizing our homes or offices. In so doing, we develop more manageable routines and create healthier habits, and may even learn to ask for support. This has so much to do with saucha, right? Purity, cleanliness, declutter. Sometimes to simplify, we need to go back to the basics: sitting quiet, contemplative inquiry, and observe sensation as it arises. In practice, this could mean placing less emphasis on complicated sequencing, fancy postures, or the quote unquote fullest expression of a pose. We practice yoga asana, that's the physical poses, for the sake of practice alone, without ego-driven goals of advancement. Yoga may be ancient, but the poses themselves are not. The word asana, which literally translates to a seat, was once the only posture ever practiced for those who sought inner peace. So come into your comfortable, steady seat. Close your eyes if that works for you, and become more aware of what you're experiencing in your physical body. Take your time mentally scanning from the bottom of each foot, slowly up each leg, and eventually to the top of your head, whatever sensations are happening. Bring with this an attitude of caring curiosity, not to judge our bodies or not to judge the experience as good or bad. We're just giving it our attention. Now locate where in your body that you can feel the presence of your breath coming in and exiting. And be in the sensations of the breath right now. You don't have to describe them mentally, just feel the sensations. Let the breath be natural. And now let's bring the attention to your energy body. In the qualities of the breath as they are, what kind of energy are you experiencing? It might be an active restlessness, or it might be a very settled energy, a calm, or whatever it is. Allow space for the experience. And now tune into your mind and observe the activity of your mind, where your attention is drawn, how quickly or slowly your attention moves from one thing to another. Feeling the energy of your mind. And with that, notice your emotional state. Now let's begin to deepen the breath through the nose. Inhale slowly, but not forcefully. Allow the breath to expand, and then through the lips, exhale slowly. Inhale, maybe a little bit slower, letting the walls of the ribs gently expand. Feel the very top of that inhalation. Pause for a few seconds to just feel that fullness. And then take your time when you're ready, opening the lips, letting the breath exit very slowly. And similarly, pause at the bottom of the exhalation for a few seconds and really notice how that feels, that complete emptying of the breath. Once again, try that. Maybe a couple more cycles of breath, pausing at the top, pausing at the bottom. No rush. Let the breath take its time in both directions. In fact, as you're consciously slowing down your breathing, observe any reaction in the body or how your mind state is affected. Pranayama, or directing your energy through breath work, is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. So we've already started the practice. Now, having assessed your states of being, what would you like to focus your energy on today? What would you like to cultivate in your experience? Begin to set your intention, your sankalpa for your practice. Maybe join the hands together at your heart. I wonder if simplification can play a role in this process. Like the intention of being patient or attending to one thing at a time, or slowing things down, being open to stillness. So whatever your intention is, feel that in the way that you're breathing, the way that you're posturing your body now. And as well, you might call to mind somebody that you care about, or a community or cause that's important to you to dedicate your practice to today. This is a way of stepping outside our individual selves and rippling the benefits of our practice to others. Now let's use our voices chanting 3 ohms, honoring the silence after each ohm. Inhale deeply. Oh. Oh. Let's begin to regulate the mind and the body using Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing. So as you close your lips, breathe in and out equally, slowly, and softly narrow or constrict the back of your throat, inviting a soft whispering sound. Allowing that sound to regulate your breath, or using that sound to help you regulate the balance and sustaining the breath, and to connect the mind to the breath and body. So keep that sound rhythm going. And in today's physical practice, we'll be focusing quite a bit on different muscles of the legs, lengthening into the hamstrings, the quadriceps, the inner and outer thighs, the calves, the hips. So let's begin in downward facing dog with some gentle movement. So place your hands either on the ground, or you might like to use two blocks on their lowest height as props under your palms. Spreading the fingers flat, lifting your hips high and back. Really use your hands to press into the floor or blocks and send your weight towards the rear edge of your mat. And then once there, begin to bend your left knee, pressing your right heel firmly into the ground. Take a deep breath here. And then bend the right knee a lot, pressing the left heel into the ground. Couple of breaths here. So we're just slowly pedaling the feet, very slowly. Now this time as you bend the left knee, swivel your hips to the right and drop the right heel. Breathe there. Then as you bend the right knee a lot, swivel your hips to the left and drop the left heel. Breathe there. And try that again once on each side while I turn on some music. Stay for a couple of breaths on each side. And then start to walk your feet up to the front of your mat, standing in a forward fold with your feet apart, at least hips distance, maybe even wider. Parallel your feet and place the blocks in front of your feet at their tallest height. Bend your knees and press your fingertips into the blocks, firm in the belly, and inhale, press your chest through your upper arms, rising forward into a flat back, sending the shoulders away from the neck. And then exhale, fold and lean towards the fronts of your feet, like towards the bottom ends of the balls of the feet. Inhale again, press into the blocks, stretch the top of your head forward in Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in. One more time like that. Inhale, press into the blocks, stretch the sides of your torso, stretch the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Now walk the blocks alongside your heels and lower your left knee to the ground, coming into a kneeling lunge. Making sure that your legs are at least as wide apart as your hips, and that your right knee is directly above your right heel to whatever degree you feel open in your groins to be able to step the right foot forward. Tuck the left toes. We're gonna move in and out of this kneeling lunge, helping to warm up around the hamstrings and groin. So as you breathe in, sink your hips down, relax the shoulders down, keep the neck long, and exhale, lift the back knee. Begin to scissor your right outer hip back so that you can straighten both legs to whatever degree that's comfortable. And then bow to the inside of your right leg as if you have a flat back. So keep the shoulders relaxed. Inhale, lower the back knee again, returning to a kneeling lunge. Exhale, lift the back knee, straightening the legs and folding, pyramid pose. Let's try that again. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. So it's a wide stance between the feet. They stay where they are in both positions. 2 more times. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Step the left foot, hips distance from the right. Bring the blocks in front of your feet. Again, press into the blocks. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Keep the knees bent. Exhale, forward fold. This time, circle your arms apart and inhale, slowly rise all the way up, reaching the arms overhead, watching your palms touch, Urdhva Hastasana. Now, bring your intention to mind as you trace your hands in prayer down the center of your body to your heart center. Full breath in. Exhale to your nose. Inhale, sweep your arms ahead, overhead. Exhale, bow from your hips. Press into your blocks again. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Walk the blocks alongside your heels, and exhale, step the right knee behind you to a kneeling lunge. Again, separate your legs hips width apart. Stack your left knee right on top of the heel. Keep the right toes tucked, and as you breathe in, let your pelvis sink. Relax the shoulders down. As you breathe out, lift the back knee and begin to scissor your left outer hip back, straightening both legs to whatever's comfortable. Bow as if you have a flat back. Inhale, return to a kneeling lunge. Exhale, straighten your legs and fold, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Couple more. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. And exhale, pyramid pose. Now this time, lower the back knee. Set the left knee behind you. And let's come down to hands and knees, all fours. Stack your shoulders right above your wrists and spread your fingers wide and flat. See that your index fingers are parallel to each other as they point forward. And then open up across the shoulder blades. Rotate the outer sides of your upper arms or triceps towards the rear wall and lengthen your neck, gazing on the ground just in front of your toes. Now with your knees right underneath your hips, engage the belly slightly and tuck your right toes behind you, straightening the right leg. You're gonna gently rock back, pressing the right heel towards the rear wall, gliding the shoulders behind the wrists, and then rock forward, but keep the belly lifted, gliding the shoulders in front of the wrists. Inhale, gently rock back. Exhale, rock forward. 3 more rounds. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, rock forward. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, forward. 1 more. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, rock forward. Now keep your hands where they are and cross your right foot to the left side of your left leg, maybe even to the outside edge or outside the edge of your mat. Keep the right toes tucked, and then look over your left shoulder towards your right big toe. And then just notice what you're feeling here. Lift the lower belly, so making sure not to overarch the lower back. Inhale deeply, find the top of that breath. And then take your time, exhaling all the way to the bottom of the breath. A few more breaths here. So we're opening up into the area of your right hip flexor, front of the right hip crease. 1 more deep breath. And set your right knee under your right hip. Let's lean back into the shins for a moment and interlace your fingers loosely and roll out your wrists. A few breaths. Relax your shoulders. Maybe gently move the head, giving the neck a stretch. Circle the wrists in the opposite direction. And flicker out the hands, shake out the arms. Now let's set the hands back on the floor, stack your shoulders over your wrists. Parallel the index fingers. Lift the navel towards the spine. Rotate your triceps towards the rear wall and lengthen the back of your neck. Tuck your left toes behind you and straighten the left leg. Inhale, glide back, keeping the belly lifted so the shoulders move behind the wrists. Exhale, glide forward so the shoulders come in front of the wrists. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, back. And exhale, forward. Keep your hands where they are. Cross your left toes to the right side of your right leg, maybe even to the right side of your mat. Keep the left toes tucked. Look over your right shoulder towards your left big toe. And let's stay here and breathe. Keep lifting the belly in so as not to overarch the lower back. Here we're focusing on opening the front of the left hip, right by the hip crease at your hip flexors. Now observe your breathing. Focus on fully expanding with the inhale, but not forcefully, and completely emptying the breath. One more deep breath. And let's set the knees down. Lean back onto your shins. And this time, backstroke your arms and place your fingertips behind your toes, whether on blocks or the floor. Turn the fingertips to face the rear wall. Seal in the bottom front ribs, lengthen the tailbone down, then lift the back ribs, pull in the belly slightly, and gently coil your chest up. Slide the shoulders down the back. As you might begin to lift your chin more, lengthen the back of the neck. Bend the elbows closer together. And let's take another 3 breaths here. Releasing your arms. Place your right hand on the front of your right knee and begin to lift your right knee, so stretching into the front of your right foot, the top of the foot, front of your right ankle, and maybe even into the shin. You might close your eyes. Notice what sensations are happening here. Keeping the breath slow, listening to the breath. Two more deep breaths. Gently lower your right shin. And let's switch sides. Take your left knee. Top of the left foot stays on the floor as you lift the knee. Notice what you feel here. And release the left shin down. Now come back to hands and knees and let's tuck your toes underneath. So an opposite, stretch into the backs of the soles of your feet, as well as the backs of your heels, the area of your Achilles tendon. So walk your hands back slowly so that you can feel into the amount of weight you want to put into the stretch, the amount of intensity. If your spine is upright and you're not using your hands to hold on to something like blocks, then let's go ahead and take the arms into cow face pose. Raise your left arm up high, rotate the tricep forward, bring the elbow behind your head, lower the left hand between your shoulder blades. You could stay here, holding the elbow, or reach the right hand underneath behind you and clasp your fingers. Not too long, about 3 more breaths. Hug in your bottom front ribs and lengthen your lower spine. Direct the tailbone down, lift the back ribs away from it. Release your arms and let's switch sides. Raise your right arm up, rotate the right tricep forward. Bring the elbow behind your head and lower your right hand between your shoulder blades. Stay here or reach the left arm underneath and clasp your fingers. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs and lengthen your tailbone downward. Lift the back ribs away from it. One more deep breath. And then release. Let's slide the legs in front of you. Stretch your legs out in front of you. And roll your legs from the hip sockets outward and inward. So the feet are like windshield wipers going in the opposite direction. You can even place your hands behind your pelvis and try that a few times. Loosening the inner and outer thighs, warming up the hip sockets. And then now let's isolate the movement at the ankles. So circle your feet, whatever direction. A few times in one direction, breathe. Lots of energy channels along the ankles, and then switch directions. One of the ways that I enjoy waking my body up in the morning after sleeping is to circle out my feet. It sounds so simple, but it actually, for me, feels very activating energetically. Now let's take the strap and we'll prepare for Ardha Gomukhasana, which is helpful not only to stretch into the outer hips and glutes, you might also feel release in the lower back, but also the hamstrings, and you might feel it in the calves. And can be a helpful posture for releasing the tension from pinched sciatic nerve. So let's begin by turning out the right thigh and crossing it over the left thigh as much as you can, so that maybe you stack the knees in one line. Take the strap and place it around the ball of your left foot. Flex the foot by curling the toes towards you and kick into the strap. So there's a little tension, like a tug of war. Hold the strap with 2 hands, but give yourself enough slack in the strap where you can roll the shoulders back and down. Now, as you're trying to sit up tall, if the back wants to round, you might find it helpful to sit up on a folded blanket towards the front edge of that folded blanket, so that your pelvis can slightly tilt forward, and then you can draw in the belly and lift the spine. Then from here, take a deep breath and press both sitting bones down. Lift up each vertebra up through the crown, keeping your throat open. Exhale just a little bit of your range, hinge forward from your hips. Pausing here, press the hips down and lift the spine from it. Broaden the chest, inhale. Exhale, fold another little bit, hug in the front ribs. And keep going, several more breaths. Making sure not to add any tension in the neck and shoulders by rounding the back. You can flare the elbows apart and slide the shoulder blades down your back, keeping a natural space between your chin and chest. Keep pressing the big toe mound of your left foot forward as you flex the foot. Now we're down to about 10 more breaths, taking your time, keeping the breath slowly paced. Then pressing down to your pelvis and firming the belly in. Begin to lift your chest, breathing in, slowly rise halfway, pause and exhale there. Remove the strap and inhale, rise all the way. Straighten both legs and relax your feet. Turn out your left thigh at the hip and cross the left thigh over the right. Try to stack your knees if you can. Step the ball of your right foot into the strap and kick into the strap as you flex the foot. Holding the strap with both hands, relax your shoulders back and down. Press down to your pelvis, draw in the navel, lift up through the back of your skull. Sitting tall, breathe in. Exhale, just a little bit of your range, begin to hinge forward from your hips. Imagine you're trying to maintain a flat back. Relax shoulders. As you inhale, press the pelvis down further and lengthen the spine some more. As you exhale, explore if there's possibility to fold some more. Tension between your hands and the strap by kicking the big toe mound of your right foot forward. Now we're down to about 10 more slow breaths. When you're ready, press down to your pelvis. Lift from your chest. Inhale, rise up halfway. Pause and exhale. Remove the strap. Inhale, rise all the way. Let's put the strap near the back of your mat. And come on down to your back. Separate your feet as you bend your knees. Separate your feet wider apart than hips distance, maybe mat width apart. Separate your knees just as wide apart as your feet, and then drop both of your knees to the right side. Align your left knee to trace the midline of your mat, down the middle. Just pay attention here. Bring that caring curiosity to the sensations arising, especially around the left side of your pelvis, like the front of the left hip, the left side of the lower back. If you're not sensing much happening there, then pick up your right foot and place your right ankle just above your left knee onto your left thigh, adding some weight to help lengthen the front of your left thigh forward. One place you can place your arms is to raise the arms overhead and bend your elbows to frame your head. Catching hold of opposite elbows with your hands, drop the arms back and slide the shoulders down your back. We're going to be here for another 1.5 minutes. Continue with your deep, spacious breath. So this posture physically targets the area of the psoas, these crisscross, very long muscles that move laterally across your hip creases at the front and then along your lower back. If you're experiencing any tension in your body, direct your breath into that part by imagining the breath, opening up space there. And as you breathe out, imagining the exhale loosening the tension. Now listen to this last breath here. Let it finish all the way before you begin to lift your knees again and step your feet on the floor. Feet wider apart than hips distance. Separate your knees as wide apart as your feet. Then drop both of your knees to the left side. Place your right knee down the midline of your mat. And pause here in this open twist for a few breaths. Paying attention to any sensations surrounding the right side of your pelvis, front of the hip, the right side of your lower back. And if you're needing more activity there, then pick up your left foot and cross your left ankle just above your right knee onto your right thigh. This also helps to lengthen the quadricep, front muscle of the thigh. And if you're holding opposite elbows overhead, let's switch the other arm on top. Soften the shoulders down. And we'll be here for another 1.5 minutes. Tuning to any places in your body that are needing your breath support. Visualize breathing into those areas. Use the exhales to loosen the grip. And the inhales to invite space, lightness. Few last breaths here. Finish the breath that you're on before gently uncrossing the legs, lifting your knees, And again, stepping your feet on the ground wider than hips distance apart. And then now dropping the knees together to touch. You might rest your hands at the fronts of your hips. And just breathe here for a moment. This posture can be a helpful way to gently broaden space across your lower back. Now from here, let's take the strap, bend your right knee into your chest and slide your left leg on the floor. Take a moment to hug your right thigh or shin, round the backs of your shoulders. Then step the ball of your right foot into the strap. Extend your right leg upright, holding the strap in your right hand. Bring your right arm on the inner side of your right leg. Flex both of your feet and press your left hand on the very top of your left thigh, making sure that the back of your left and right hips stay evenly on the ground, the whole pose. This is supine, hand to big toe pose variation. So begin to rotate your right thigh bone at the hip socket, turning out the right thigh so the knee and toes begin to point out towards the right wall. And then slowly begin to open the right leg out to the right side. Breathing in, breathing out as you explore that range of motion, making sure that the back of your left hip stays on the ground and you're flexing both feet. We'll be here for another 10 deep breaths. As you stay a little longer, think of drawing your right hip crease forward towards your inner left foot. Like your right sitting bone is magnetizing towards your inner left heel. Let's give it one more deep breath. Then raise your right leg up. Remove the strap. And slide your right leg on the ground. Bend your left knee into your chest in Apanasana, wind relieving pose. And rest here for a moment. Drop the backs of the shoulders, lengthen your neck. Then step the ball of your left foot into the strap. Extend your left leg upright, holding the strap with your left hand. Bring your left arm on the inside of your left leg. Flex both of your feet and press your right hand on the very top of your right thigh to ground the back of your right hip just as much as the left hip. Rotate your left thigh at the hip socket externally, which means point your left knee and toes to face the left wall. Begin to open the left leg slowly out to the left side. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. Supta Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana is the name of this pose. As we stay a little longer, imagine sending your left sitting bone forward towards your inner right heel. Finish the breath that you're on. Then bend your left knee into your chest and remove the strap. Now, find that wall. You're going to use a wall or a chair, couch, or bed. And set your mat perpendicular to it. So right now mine is parallel to these curtains, which is my imaginary wall. It's not a wall, but I'm going to show you a little choreography for those of you that have a wall so we can get into legs up the wall pose. So you want to sit with one hip, outer hip, flush against your wall with bent knees. Roll down onto your side into a fetal position so that you can scoot your two glutes up against the wall to touch it. And once you're there, roll over onto your back, straighten the legs up, and lean them onto the wall. And you're right into the pose where your glutes are pretty much touching the wall. If you want to elevate your pelvis a little more to stimulate more blood flow, you could bend your knees, press your feet into the wall, grab a block, and then lift the pelvis, slide the block lowest height across your sacrum, the flat part of your lower back. Make sure that you're comfortable because we're going to be here for 3 minutes. Those of you that don't have a wall, like I don't actually have a wall, take your piece of furniture that you're going to use to elevate your calves on, like a chair. And similarly, sit up so that the side of your body is right up against that chair, and then fall into a fetal position on your side so that you can scoot your glutes pretty much right up against the sofa, bed, or chair, and then rolling onto your back, land your calves onto that piece of furniture. So you're elevating your legs. Also, if you want to elevate your pelvis some more, you can do the same thing. Slide a block under your sacrum. And again, make sure that your setup allows comfort and ease. You could rest your hands on your stomach. You can feel grounding, as well as warm up the belly, which is receiving a bit more blood flow here, helping to stimulate digestion as well as activate the relaxation response of your nervous system. This is a great posture, whatever variation you're in of legs up the wall pose, or Viparita Karani in Sanskrit, to restore energy in tired legs and feet. You've been on your feet all day, it can be helpful. This posture is also known to help relieve headaches, making sure you're breathing slowly, calmly. It can also help with menstrual pain. Oh, and this posture can be helpful in preparing for a good night's sleep. Let's stay an extra 2 more minutes. You hop with a relaxation, activation, kind of an irony of words. You can breathe out slower than you breathe in. You might even count to 5 as you're inhaling, count to 7 as you're exhaling. Feeling your belly gently rise and fall to the breath. Allow for at least 3 more long exhales in this posture. Keeping your head close to the ground, as this posture is considered an inversion, an upside down pose. So you don't want to lift your head upright too quickly, as that can cause lightheadedness. When you're ready, draw your bent knees towards your chest. You might pause a moment in happy baby pose if you like, rounding your tailbone and your shoulders. Oh, and make sure there's no block under your sacrum as you're doing this. Then with your knees bent together, gently turn over to your right side, resting your head on your arm. Stay for a few breaths here. Pressing your hands into the floor, let your head come up last. Lifting your torso, slowly coming up. Let's prepare for Shavasana. So come to lie down on the ground and feel free to use your props in any way that supports your body comfortably. Like you might like a pillow under your head, or a thick pillow across the backs of your knees for lower back support. Or a weighted blanket on your pelvis and lower belly. Separate your feet wider than your hips distance, relaxing your legs and feet. Feel the evenness of both hips on the ground. Roll your shoulders back and down and turn the palms to face up beside you. Close your eyes and feel your neck naturally curved. And then exhaling, let the breath go. Let it be in its natural flow. Observing what arises and what exits, the space of your consciousness. We'll be here in stillness for the next 5 minutes in Shavasana, corpse pose. As we rest here a little longer, keep your eyes closed and observe your physical body. Notice what sensations you're experiencing now. Observe the breath in its natural flow. And tune into your energetic state of being. What's that like now? Sense your mind. Feel its state. Notice your emotional state. Stay aware of these layers as you begin to move your fingers gently, move your toes, your feet and hands. Maybe gently turn your head, still with the eyes closed. Stretch your arms overhead, get long to your body. And then again, turn gently to your right side, resting your head on your arm. When you're ready, press the ground and slowly rise up. Position your body in a comfortable seat for meditation. You might sit on your pillow or your folded blanket. Let your two hips feel evenly grounded, your spine tall, your body relaxed. And then set your hands either face down in the lap, grounding energy, maybe thumb and first fingers to touch to help focus, or palms face up, uplifting energy. Or maybe set a hand on your heart and a hand on your lower belly. Taking whatever works for you, eyes closed, or steady a gentle gaze on one spot ahead. Now let's begin the practice of cultivating open awareness. You might begin by feeling the sensations of the breath in its natural flow again. And if your eyes are closed, continue to close your eyes. Notice how you feel here, ending the meditation. You might bring your palms together and recall your intention that you set at the beginning of this practice. Recall to whom or what you dedicated this practice to. Picturing them enjoying benefit. And together, let's join voices, closing with 3 chants of Om. Inhale deeply. Bow in towards your heart space, acknowledging the light within. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.